Greetings, welcome back to Project Dumpster Fire. This is my 1972 Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40. It's a project that's been sitting for a long time. It's been parked for years. It used to belong to my dad. He quit driving it about 11 years ago, and it's been parked in my yard ever since. A few years ago, Dad gave the Land Cruiser to my wife and I for a wedding present. I've been meaning to get to it ever since. This is a special build because Dad and I will be doing it together. We know that it runs. I've moved it around the yard a little bit. We're going to just check it out and see how well it's running and make a plan for how we're going to go forward with it. As you can see, it's a mess. There's just garbage in it and trash and things and every kind of spider, maybe a family of otters. The seats are thrashed, everything's thrashed. So let's break out the pressure washer, clean it up, and see what we can make out of this. Alright, the Land Cruiser is clean. Rough, but clean. We blew off all the dirt, all the cobwebs, all the bugs, some of the paint, a little bit of Bondo, some rust, a few chunks of things that couldn't quite identify. Now our next step is to get into the garage and get it running. We know that it does run, however, it doesn't run well and hasn't been driven in many, many years because of that. So let's get the hood open, see what we're working with, and let's get into it.
What are you going to do, a compression test?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just because, for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
You know? I can tell you right now, it's not going to be good.
No, hell no.
I don't require.
I don't think so.
I don't require a lot of evidence for that.
Now, as I mentioned, this rig does run, and in fact it runs pretty smoothly. However, it's had a problem with low power for quite a while, which is what led to it being parked 11 years ago. We suspect a dead cylinder, so what we're going to do is a compression test. What we're looking for here is one cylinder with significantly lower compression than the others. So we'll go ahead and pull the spark plugs out, get our compression tester attached, and check compression in each cylinder until we find the one that's low. If we do find low compression on a cylinder, it's going to let us know that we have a problem, either with a stuck intake or exhaust valve, a bad ring, bad head gasket, etc. I'll show you an easy way to determine which one is actually causing the problem. So here we go. We're going to get the compression tester on there, and we're going to give it a shot. This is one of those screw-in compression testers. In my opinion, there's a significant upgrade from the one that you have to jam into the spark plug hole and hold the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and get the compression gauge on the end of the hose that we just screwed into the spark plug hole. I'm going to go ahead and open the throttle on the carburetor and zip tie it open to get the maximum amount of airflow.
It's the last piece. Okay, cylinder 1. Well, so what do we got here? It's supposed to be 150. What's your bet?
75.
$158. Okay, what's your bet for number 2? All right. Something must be wrong. Something's got to be wrong.
God dang it.
Okay, let's try this again. Zero. No, I'm going to call it 10.
Oh, huh?
We'll call it 10.
Okay.
I got to have a stuck valve on that one. There's no even bad, yeah, I got to have a stuck valve. Okay, number 2 is 0. There's my dead cylinder. 0. Zero's low. It really is low. I got to have a stuck valve. I'm going to have to pull the valve cover off and smack it with a hammer. See if I can fix that. Maybe I should do that now before I even move on.
Yeah, good idea.
It runs. It sounds the same.
It does.
I think it was always.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
All right, so no compression on cylinder 2. Great. Let's grab the scope and have a look in the cylinders before we go any further. I got my little borescope here, and hopefully it's not too hard for you to see. Cylinder 1 is not looking great. Lots of scratching, lots of scuffing, a little bit of scoring. Cylinder 2 is a bit better, but not great. Cylinder 3 is the same. Cylinder 4 is also scuffed good. Cylinder 5 looks pretty rough. In addition, we have a horizontal scratch. I'm not sure what that is. Cylinder 6 also scored. Okay, none of the cylinders look great, but none of them is showing any significant damage or any real wear that's significantly worse than any of the others. So let's continue and determine why one of the cylinders has no compression. To do that, we're going to fire compressed air directly into each cylinder. I have an air valve plumbed into a tube that's screwed into the spark plug hole. We're going to fire air into each one and see where it comes out. If the air comes out the carburetor, it's going to be an intake valve leak, broken intake valve, or stuck valve. If it comes out the exhaust, that'll be an exhaust valve leak, broken exhaust valve, or stuck valve. If it comes out the radiator cap, that's going to be a head gasket leak. And if it comes out the valve cover breather and the dipstick tube, it's going to be a ring leak. So I have my dad here. He's going to be operating that. It's going to put air into the engine. I'm going to try to light a candle while holding this.
probably should mention to people to make sure there's no fuel in the carburetor before you do that. Okay. Okay, hit it. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Okay, now this is the vent on the valve cover. Go ahead. There you go. Let's do it again. That works. That really shows you. So again, the vent on the valve cover. Okay. And just to be funny, we'll do the dipstick too.
So, the engine's junk. Honestly, I gotta say, this is a bit of a setup for the sake of storytelling. I knew it was junk. I didn't know exactly why or how bad it was, but I knew that it was, and I knew it was getting replaced. It's certainly rebuildable, and it does run, but it's extremely cost prohibitive to rebuild this engine, and what we would be left with is not what I need for my intended usage for this Land Cruiser. This vehicle is going to be used for a certain purpose, and that's going to require certain equipment. So, we're going to be replacing this engine with a 350 Chevy. That'll provide us with plenty of power, great reliability, and endless parts availability. We're going to back that with an NV4500 5-speed transmission in place of the 3-speed that's there now. That'll give us 27% overdrive. We're going to back that with an Orion 4-to-1 transfer case from Advanced Adapters. Of course, that's going to require new engine mounts, a transmission cross member, adapters, radiator, fan shroud, flywheel, clutch, headers, drive shafts. It also needs seats, suspension, brakes, wiring, wheels, tires, and bumpers. Also, I'd like to have air conditioning because I'm getting old and I don't like it when it's hot. Might as well add power steering while we're at it. Fuel injection would be the way to go with this, probably a Holly Sniper 2. So, at the end of the day, what started as something simple just became something complex. If you're going to play with old cars, you need to get used to that. It happens all the time. Welcome to my life. So stick with us. Dad and I are going to be doing this together, just the two of us in a regular 2-car garage. We have about a year to get it done, and it's going to be great, because I get to do it with my dad. So stick with us, and bring your kids, bring your dad to watch it. Get inspired to do your own project with your family. You know, the idea behind this is to spend time working with my dad again. I'm 50 and he's 80. These opportunities don't come around like they used to. The finished product will be a vehicle that I'll use daily and cherish for what it is, but more importantly for the memories it'll always hold. It's the kind of memories you can't make any other way. You can never replace them. Alright, see you next time and thanks for watching.